This is an intro video for the 34-acre property at the Lake of the Ozarks. Really interesting property, pretty darn unique. We try to keep these as short as possible, but there's a lot to see on this one, so this might take a while. The property's outlined in red right here, 34 acres. Basically, the entire west side fronts a paved road called Stoddard Drive. So here it is along the west side. And then actually the south side fronts another paved road called Pine Cove Road. This is over on the right. This is the Lake of the Ozarks. This happens to be Pine Cove here. We've got a little restaurant down here with a boat launch. The property is gorgeous. You've got lake views from several spots. Let's see where we want to begin here. Why don't we zoom in a little bit? There we go. Okay, so when you're coming to the property, you've got Pine Cove Road here. Well, you would be coming from the west more than likely. This is the little fire station right here. And so as soon as you see the fire station, you're looking at the property. The best access into the property is to go north on Stoddard. And there's actually a short little chat driveway that goes in right here and leads into this open area. The open area, I don't know if it was designed for a building site or what the deal was, but it does have a power pole there. It's got a meter box with electric service there, which is really nice. So you could possibly pull your camper in or plan on doing your building your home right there if you wanted to. It's also one of the spots where you've got a really good lake view off to the east, of course. But I mean, the property itself is really interesting. You've got a nice ridge right here. Basically, it sits the highest on the west side where Stoddard Drive is, and then slopes down as you go easterly toward the lake. But you have several nice ridge areas. Let's switch to a topo map here. I know topo maps can be confusing, especially if you're not used to them. But here's kind of the cleared site with the power. Here's the where the two paved roads are, and you've got a level area there. But you can see how it slopes down. Those lines indicate that it slopes down. But you've also had these ridge areas that kind of go throughout the property over here and there. Now, the fact that it slopes down is what gives you the lake view, so that's important. But the fact that you also have these ridge areas running throughout the property, that means that you have a lot of usable area. So it's although it generally does slope down, there are several spots that are not steep, which would be generally suitable for building or for yard or whatnot. Obviously, you're extremely close to the Lake of the Ozarks. This was logged, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago. It wasn't clear cut. Some parts of it were cut fairly hard, and some were not. Here you can see this area here where you don't see as many of the mature trees. That was logged a little more heavily. When you get up here to the north side, some parts weren't logged at all. So, I mean, you've got a nice mixture of stuff there. One of the most interesting things about this property, other than the fact that it's lake view and it's in a great area to access the lake, is the zoning on here is really nice. Most of the property is zoned A1 agricultural. So all this stuff up here is zoned A1 agricultural, which is nice because you can build, you can farm, you can hunt, you can you can have a winery, you can do a lot of different stuff. But then interestingly enough, this bottom section here is, according to the zoning map, it's zoned AR, which apparently is an agricultural residential mix. So, I mean, we're not zoning experts. Research that if you want to, but I would assume that you have more options with that, and that's probably because it happens to be right here where these two paved roads meet. So potentially you could do some kind of commercial business there. I mean, you'll have to talk to the county zoning. It may be something where they would want you to go to some hearing or whatnot, but the fact that it's zoned AR is pretty interesting on this bottom portion here, and then agricultural or A1 zoning on the rest. So a lot of freedom on what you can do here. Talk to the county, but we're told you can have mobile homes, you can have site build homes, lots and lots of different stuff that you could do here. You could have pasture land if you wanted to open up some pasture. Or just have a beautiful home overlooking the lake. Great area. Like we said, there is a little restaurant and a boat launch right down here, but within about 2 miles to the north, maybe a mile to the north, just take this road up and go around the bend. You've got what's called the Brown Bend access to the Lake of the Ozarks, and that's run, I believe, by the Missouri Conservation Department. It's a free boat launch and fishing pier. It's fantastic. We've used it many times because we're really familiar with this section of the lake. Here we go. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can kind of. The Lake of the Ozarks is huge, but there are not that many public boat launches, interestingly enough. So having one this close is pretty fantastic, and this is one of the better ones, if not the best one on the entire lake. Okay, so just quickly there, so you can see it's got a huge parking lot. I mean, you can leave your truck and trailer all day. Huge concrete launch. You've got a fishing pier. You've got some areas. It's even got a little walking trail that goes over here. I mean, it's really cool. It's got bathrooms, all that good stuff. So, I mean, you can launch just about anything from a jet ski um, to a bass boat, pontoon boat, up to a really big boat if you wanted to. Okay, so there's that. Let's really quickly, we'll switch to a street map and kind of show you the route to get to the property. So there you're looking at the Lake of the Ozarks. About 20 miles southeast, if you look down toward the bottom, that's Camdenton, Missouri. That's sort of the headquarters of the lake. So all this where you see the hand hovering here, this is kind of the high traffic section of the lake, going up to Osage Beach, up to Sunrise Beach. That's where you're going to find the power boats. That's where you'll find the yachts and that kind of stuff. And that's totally fun, and that's great. As soon as you get up here more toward the middle section of the lake where the property is, now you're in the quiet part of the lake. So you've got more people that are more interested in fishing rather than partying. You'll have a lot of pontoons with families pulling tubes behind the pontoons. In fact, we take our family vacation right up here at the end of this peninsula or whatnot just about every year, and it's fantastic. I mean, we use all this section of the lake, and it's just great. It's great for fishing. It's great for tubing, paddleboarding, all that good stuff. But anyway, to get to the property from Camdenton, you take Highway 5 to the north, go west on Highway 7. Right about here is the little town of Climax Springs. You'll go through Climax Springs and go a couple miles, and you're going to go north. This is actually Highway DD, I believe. I don't know why that's not showing up. Let's go back to a Google map. Maybe that'll show it. Okay, there we go. So take Highway 7 through Climax Springs. Take Highway DD to the north. Not sure how far it is, maybe 3 miles, 2 miles on DD. Take a right on FF, and don't worry, we're almost there. And then you're looking for Pine Cove Road, going to the right off of FF, and just stay on Pine Cove, stay on Pine Cove. And like I say, if you're on Pine Cove and you see this little fire station, you're basically at the property. A little bit of frontage on Pine Cove, a ton of frontage on Stoddard. So feel free to go check it out. Bring your four-wheeler, walk all around. This is a Google map, and Google is usually a couple years behind. So this was probably taken right after it was logged, but it's had several years of growth. So like any property that's been logged, it's going to probably not look its best in the winter, but then in the spring and summer, it's going to look better and better every year. You can actually see some of the old logging trails. So that's not any kind of easement road or public road crossing it. That's just an old logging trail. But yeah, check out the website at InstantAcres.com. We're going to have more videos. We'll have a drone video. We'll have a ground video, all kinds of good stuff. Ask us any questions. We'd love to talk to you about this property. I think it's a really solid investment. By the way, this is a great area for hunting. We've had someone hunting this property for the last 3 years, and they've done really well every year. So yeah, InstantAcres.com. We would love to speak to you.